Hi everyone, my name is Oliver Treadwell. Hope you folks are doing well. Today I am going to talk to you a little bit about HTML classes and how we use them and how they can really help us out when we use them in combination with HTML and CSS. So let's get started. So classes are often used in such a way so that we are able to style our web page using the same styles across a number of different HTML elements. This will make it easier for multiple pictures to look the same or different portions of text within our website to look the same. And really, it does a lot of help in regards to reducing the amount of CSS code that we are writing when we are trying to apply the same type of styles to our HTML. So let's take a look at this a little bit further. So what problem is class solving? Now, on the left-hand side of the screen, you have a HTML and CSS piece of code. We have an h1 tag, as you can see here, and a paragraph tag, which you can see here, both of them with a little bit of text inside them. And then below them we have some CSS. Now you can see that we're using CSS here to style our h1 tag with a font color of red, and our paragraph tag with a font color of red. So we're actually setting a color of red on both of those elements, and they're being styled in the same way. Now you can see this again over on the right hand side by looking at the this is red h1 tag and the this is red paragraph tag that is being output as part of our web page. There's probably a better way for us to do so, and that's where classes come in. Classes will allow us to make it simpler for us to only use one type of CSS style selector of a class and give it a font color of red. Now let's see this a little bit further in action, and I'll show you exactly how we go about using a class syntax and how we use it in both HTML as well as CSS. So here we'll talk about the proper class syntax in HTML and CSS. So in our HTML syntax, you can see that we have a paragraph element with a class of class name. You create a class name by opening your element and then giving the attribute class an equal sign, open quotations, and then a class name, close the quotations, and then continue on with our HTML element like you see here. Now a little bit further complex, though you've seen the CSS syntax previously before, is our CSS syntax. So as you can see, there's a dot class name, and then below it we have a CSS property and a CSS property value. CSS classes always start with a dot in front of them. This lets CSS know that this is a class. And after the dot, as I've shown here, is the class name. And that's the same class name that we've given it in our HTML. So you have to be careful that your HTML class as well as your CSS class match. Otherwise, they won't pair up and provide the CSS style that you want it to. Otherwise, the CSS syntax looks very much akin to what you've seen before. So let's go look back at the example that we had done previously. So on the left-hand side, again, we have our input, and on the right-hand side, we have our output. Now, if you'll notice, again, we have an h1 tag with a class of orange, and it says this is orange text, and a closing h1 tag, and then opening paragraph tag, also with a class of orange. So these two match, they both have the same class. And again, it has a little bit of text inside of it that says this is another orange text. And we've closed this paragraph tag. Now, if you go look at our CSS styles here, you'll notice something distinctly different. So previously, when we had to style the h1 element and the paragraph element separately, Now, because we have a class of orange, we can style them both using a CSS class selector of orange. And that's what we've done here. We've got the dot that starts out all of our CSS classes, and then we've got the class name after the dot, which pairs back to the class we've given it in our HTML. And then we've provided it a property of color, which will change the font color, and given it a value of orange, which will again give it the orange font color that we're looking for. And so you can see how this is being outputted on the right-hand side. This is orange text, and this is another orange text. So we have an H1 with this is orange text, and a paragraph with this is orange text. And this just makes it a lot simpler if we're going to, again, style things the same way. Let's quickly go back to what we had done previously so that you can compare. So again, class is going to be used to prevent us from doing what we're seeing within our style code in this input section, where we've got our H1 and our paragraph tag, both with a CSS property of color. Quickly go back. Now we've got a dot orange class selector with a color of orange. And you'll notice that if you compare the two, the style code that we have in our class selector is a lot smaller and has the similar type of output in comparison to what we have when we're trying to style them both separately. Awesome. So this is again the primary reason that we'll use classes, to reduce the amount of code that we're writing and to make it easier for us to style HTML elements on our web page in the same way. Please let me know if you have any questions. You can reach out to me via Twitter or email, and both of those are available online. Again, thank you very much. My name is Ollie Treadwell. You can find my website at ollietreadwell.com, and I look forward to hearing from you.